Some 45 miles northwest of San Francisco, several rare examples of a dying breed can be found living out the last of their days in a land of sunshine and good times. The city of Napa, California, is the base of operations for the Napa Valley Railroad and its roster of 4 ALCO FP4 locomotives. Some of the final examples of their once 909-strong class, these Dash 4 variants are coming to the end of their 65-year run as the Napa Valley Railroad prepares for the arrival of new rebuilds to take their place. In late 2023, an opportunity arose to visit the Napa Valley and document the line and these venerable machines before their time was finally up. The Napa Valley line would start life with much the same purpose in mind as its present-day counterpart. A gentleman by the name of Samuel Brennan would found the original Napa Valley Railroad in 1864 with the intent of transporting tourists to his hot springs resort, where the town of Calistoga, California would later be incorporated. The line would be completed in 1868, traversing 42 miles from Calistoga in the north to Vallejo in the south, where passengers would be transferred to the Bay Area ferry service. The Napa Valley Railroad would not last long, with the line soon being sold off to the California Pacific Railroad in 1869. 1895 would see the line leased to the Southern Pacific, before they would take total control of the line 3 years later, in which time they built a connecting line from Napa Junction to their system at Sassoon. The first shrinkage would come in 1968 when the Southern Pacific would partition for abandonment of the line from Krug, northwest of St. Helena, to Calistoga. 1985 would be the year the Southern Pacific would file for abandonment of the remainder of the branch. Upon this news, local business owners would form the Napa Valley Railroad Operating Company and proceed to acquire the right-of-way of the Napa Valley line from the Southern Pacific for $2.5 million in 1987. Fast forward to today, and the Napa Valley Railroad continues to operate daily wine trains and dinner trains up and down the Napa Valley. In the city of Napa, we find the railroad's sizable service yard where the locomotives and rolling stock are maintained and serviced between runs. Sawskull Avenue passes by the entrance to the yard and provides a clear view to the power tied down by the roundhouse. Here there is a varied collection of power that the Napa Valley has acquired over its decades of operation. Number 73 stands forlorn as it sits up front next to the main road. One of the 4 ALCO FP4s that the line has owned from its early days of operation, this unit was rebuilt to run on natural gas, and its ALCO heart was replaced with an EMD 12-cylinder 645 engine. This rebuild did not save the locomotive, however, as it is now due for scrapping as part of the terms of the CARB grant the line has received from the state of California. In the background to the left, we spot sister unit number 71, who at this time was just a shell with its engine removed. This unit would be scrapped a few months later as part of the same CARB grant. In the track to the right is number 5076, a GP38-2 that was originally built for the Southern and would become part of Norfolk Southern before heading west to work on the Northwestern Pacific before finding its home here in 2016. Number 62 stands close by along with number 52. Both longtime members of the line's roster. Number 62 is an RS-11 originally built for the Southern Pacific, and number 52, a GE 65-ton switcher that saw service with the United States Army and Navy before coming here. Both are due to be scrapped soon, along with the last unit we see hiding behind number 73. Once part of the Portland and Western Railroad's fleet as number 1804, this GP9, now number 69, stands in the deadline awaiting the scrapper's torch. With all this dead power having run their last miles, there is yet the sound of life that can be heard coming from behind the roundhouse. Napa Valley's number 70 and 72 are found gurgling away in the evening light as their dedicated crew prepares them for this evening's scheduled dinner train to St. Helena and back. Having now appeared from behind the roundhouse, number 70 leads the long rake of coaches to the Napa Depot. On the way to pick up the awaiting passengers, the line passes over two concrete bridges. The first takes it over the Napa River, which replaced an older bridge consisting of a timber trestle and steel girder section. The second, a longer bridge, gracefully carries trains over a park created on a peninsula formed by the Napa River. The new bridges would see service in the summer of 2011, with a sister bridge being built next to the latter, completed the following year. This additional span allowed for a new siding by the Napa Depot, where before it was just a single track with a short spur. Having now arrived at the depot, we can now get a better look at these venerable ALCOs. In 1988, the Napa Valley would acquire 4 ALCO FP4s from Via Rail in Canada, numbers 6760, 6775, 6787, and 6790, being renumbered respectively to 70, 71, 72, and 73. 34 ALCO FP4s would be built exclusively for the Canadian National at ALCO's affiliated company, Montreal Locomotive Works, between 1958 and 59. These locomotives would be fitted with ALCO's 251 12-cylinder series power plants that are rated at 1,800 horsepower. Needless to say, it is fairly apparent that these locomotives have received some enhancements during their time with the Napa Valley. Beacons have been added as well as strobe lights on the nose. A spark arrestor now covers the exhaust port, but the bell is original, as is pretty much everything else we can see from the outside. The coaching stock is another story entirely, with the first cars being acquired from the Denver and Rio Grande Western, having seen service on their iconic ski train. Over time, more coaches would be added, including a Pullman sleeper and an ex-Milwaukee Road dome car. The boxcar behind the locomotives has been converted into a generator car to provide power to the consist. Uniquely, the height of the roof was lowered to match the height of the coaches, so as not to obscure the view from the dome car. With the last passengers now on board, the head-end conductor activates the crossing gates on Soskal Avenue, and number 70 leads the dinner train out of town. Leaving Napa, the line cuts through the northern city limits, slicing suburbia in two. A couple miles from Napa, the line's path soon crosses over Highway 29 at the location of Union, once a station stop in Southern Pacific days. The bridge that we see was built in the early 2000s when the highway was rerouted under the line to improve traffic flow in the area. When the bridge was being built, the line was temporarily routed around the build site on a temporary earthwork to ensure the line's continued operation throughout the process. It is also at Union the right-of-way passes between Solano Avenue and Highway 29 all the way to the next town of Yountville. A few miles out of Napa, and the urban landscape gives way to viticulture as we catch the daily winery tour train being hauled by Napa Valley's 80-tonner, number 57. Eight and a half miles northwest from Napa lies the town of Yountville, which started life in the mid-1800s as Sevastopol. Surprisingly, a town nearby already claimed this name, and the town was renamed in honor of George C. Yount, who is considered to have established the first winery in the Napa Valley. The town proper is to the east of the tracks and is host to such locations as the famed French Laundry restaurant, while to the west is the grounds of the Veterans Home of California, the largest facility of its kind in the United States. This center for veteran care currently hosts nearly 800 veterans from as far back as World War II, with the home's founding being in 1884. The Napa Valley Railroad has a depot here for passengers to alight off the train and visit the local wineries. It seems to have been some time since trains have stopped here though, with a solitary ex-Southern Pacific caboose standing guard over the quiet scene. The day's lunch train can be heard approaching as the pair of ALCOs pull their charge through Yountville, passing the siding. North from Yountville, and the line along Highway 29 skirts around the edge of Yountville Hills before continuing on its course to St. Helena. We next stop at Rutherford, where another siding is located, along with the Southern Pacific Era Depot. Rutherford is a regular spot for lunch and winery trains to pass each other when both are running on the line. The traffic is busy on Highway 29 as our train bounces through town along the jointed rail. A little further and we catch the lunch train again, taking it easy as it passes through a slow order, requiring the engineer to reduce the speed of his train. Once the rear of the train passes out of the slow order, the engineer opens the throttle with the old ALCOs giving their distinct reply. "18 miles from Napa, and we arrive at the city of St. Helena. The locality became significant upon the discovery of a hot spring, as was the one in the nearby city of Calistoga in 1848. A resort was built here in 1852 before the founding of the town in 1876. The city today is dominated by the wine industry, with vineyards and wineries surrounding St. Helena attracting millions of tourists every year to sample their vintages. The city takes great pride in its culinary scene to the point that there is a ban on all restaurant chains within the city limits. There is but one solitary exception in the form of an A&W restaurant that was built prior to this ban taking effect. The lunch and dinner trains of the Napa Valley Railroad end their run here in St. Helena before heading back to Napa. The line continues a mile further northwest to the small station of Krug and the Charles Krug Winery that is visited by the daily winery tasting tour service. Having arrived in St. Helena, the crew cuts the power away from the train and runs around the siding in preparation for the trip back. Backing onto the coaches, the patrons get a front row seat of the unfolding action from the safety of the observation platform as the crew carry out their work. Next to the siding stands a large depot which has seen a complete restoration in the late 1990s after suffering from fire damage and is now home to several small businesses. Built to the Southern Pacific Plan number 18 in 1895, the depot's size reflected the anticipated traffic of the time by the Southern Pacific. However, passenger service would cease in 1929, with freight service continuing until the line's abandonment in 1985. With the crew ready and air test completed, number 72 leads the train of dining revelers out of St. Helena and back to Napa. With the last patrons having disembarked, the crew brings the train into the yard to be serviced and prepared for the next dinner train later in the evening. With their days numbered, these veteran ALCOs continue to traverse the Napa Valley for the present. Their replacements, in the form of rebuilt gensets from the Knoxville Locomotive Works, promise to be much cleaner to run and maintain, but they will never match the presence and character of the veteran units that they will be replacing. And until that final run, we can, for a little while longer, take in the sights and sounds of this now rare breed of workhorse as they depart once more into the evening light. We hope that you have enjoyed this short look at the Napa Valley Railroad and their iconic ALCOs. Be sure to subscribe for future content, and from all of us at Sidetracked, thank you.